Okay, hi guys. Welcome to this next session. This is session 7 in our tempo build. As we said last time, we're really kind of into the serious stuff now. Just gonna start off with a little bit of walking. Okay, workout hasn't started yet. I'm just gonna talk you through what we're up to. So, in this week's session, we're focusing on pace regulation. So it's really important. It doesn't matter what event you're doing. So this session is particularly poignant for our triathletes, but it doesn't matter what event you're doing. You have to have the confidence, the skill to change your pace and do it in like a considered and like knowledgeable way, and know why you're changing pace, if that makes sense. So our main set today is some half marathon and 5k sets. So what we're going to be doing, normal 10-minute warm up, which we'll get started on in a second. We'll then pause, do some dynamics or some running drills in this session. Then we'll get back into 3 minutes of easy jogging again before we get into the main sets. Now the main sets are 3 minutes at half marathon pace, so like a 6 out of 10 effort. Then kicking up to 2 minutes at 5k pace, so an 8 out of 10, before dropping back down to a 6 out of 10. So you've got those kind of two shifts, gear shifts, one kicking up to 5k and then back down to half marathon. And as I say, it's particularly poignant to our triathletes, which I'll explain a little bit more shortly. We're doing 3 sets to that, and there's only 1 minute of walking recovery in between the sets. So that's another aspect of this session. There's not a ton of recovery. Overall, the intensity is not super high because we're primarily at a 6 out of 10, which is some 2 minute bursts at 5k pace. But because, as I say, we're into the serious stuff now, we've got a very short recovery period in between the 3 rounds that we're doing. Okay, so that's the session. So let's get started, and we'll start getting involved in our chat as well. Okay, so workout started. So let's just start to build the effort now from walking up into start off at sort of like a 2 out of 10 effort, really nice and chilled. Okay, in our chat for this session, we're talking about improving run technique. Now, a few sessions ago, we talked about some quick little pointers, the really annoying things I always say: chin up, shoulders down, high knee drive, etc. I'm going to talk to you about the theory of run technique a little bit more, and I have some pretty big opinions on it. And different coaches have different feelings about how to improve run technique. Probably most significantly, the method of improving run technique, and I'm referring really to the use of technique drills, and I have a pretty strong opinion on it. Personally, I think technique drills, as we just increase the effort a little bit, I think technique drills are largely useless, which might sound a bit controversial, but I'll explain why. Otherwise that would just be a bit pointless me saying that. So the way I explain it is, running is a lot like swimming, in the sense that changing technique is not easy. It takes a huge amount of practice, huge amount of repetition, just to make the smallest changes. So there is obviously the obsession with midfoot striking, etc. But if you are a heel striker, that change to become a midfoot striker, it's not. I've never solved that through technique drills, and the reason for that is people just don't do them often enough, and I don't think they're that effective. Personally, strength training is much more effective at improving a runner's technique, because, as I've said on a few occasions, by and large, runners, their poor technique is usually down to some form of weakness or muscular imbalance or immobility. It is rarely down to them you know, not put in the right place or whatever. Normally it's down to a weak leg drive, weak glutes or something, weak core. You know, it's almost always strength focused. So that's one thing I really want to get out of the way. So increasing effort a little bit more up to a 3 out of 10 effort now. But yeah, running is a lot like swimming in that to make any technique changes through drills, you need a huge amount of repetition. That's the same way as you do in swimming. However, in swimming, technique always beats conditioning. The same is not true for running. Conditioning will often beat technique. So if you got not the greatest technique, but you're fit and strong and you're not getting injured, you're likely to beat the other person that has that beautiful running stride but shit fitness. Hopefully that all makes sense. So yeah, the long and short of it is technique drills, and we're all going to do some, just so I can illustrate. We're all going to do some in our kind of dynamic stretching section of this workout. But yeah, they're not as effective as I think some people like to pretend. And the reason for that is, as I said, you need to do them a lot to kind of make any kind of noticeable difference in running stride. But I think another primary factor in why they're not that effective is because so often people don't understand why they're doing them. And that is also true of swimming, which is why for our athletes we put so much emphasis on teaching them why they're doing drills. But I would say even more so with running. And also coaches don't know why they're doing them. And I would profess, you know, before I did this session, I just had some quick look at an old list of drills from when I originally did my coaching courses years and years ago. Just putting up to 3.5 out of 10 now. Yeah, and it was like, some of the drills, like you look at them now and you're just like, I would never use that. And we were never taught why to use each drill. So I think also a lot of coaches don't know why. So the classic ones like A skip, A march, etc, etc, you're kind of just told to do them and that they will help with coordination, help your running stride, your running pattern, increase contact time when your foot is on the floor, etc. But you're never told how or why. And so I think that's one of the biggest issues with running drills in order to improve technique. Like, nobody knows why they're doing them. They don't do them often enough. However, I do find a purpose for running drills. They can be really good as part of the warm-up process. They can be good for just kind of focusing your mind a little bit. They can be good for activating certain muscles. For me, I do certain running drills because I get Achilles tendinopathy. So I do some drills kind of really wake up my calves a little bit and get a bit of mobility in my ankles. So there are purposes to them, but I don't really see the drills that I do or I give to other athletes really as something to improve their technique. It's typically to just wake them up a bit and maybe wake up their balance or coordination, etc. But they kind of have a purpose, but don't really see them as technique changes. Although I guess arguably, if I'm waking up my calves properly and I'm waking up my big toe so that my foot rolls forwards, I mean arguably that is technique improvement. But not perhaps in the sense that many people think. You know, if I do these drills, I'm going to I'll run like Mo Farah or something. It's not like that, I'm afraid. Strength is usually the way to go for most people. Anyway, right, so keep moving up through sort of zone 2 I'm now up to 4 out of 10. I'm just going to chill out here. Just going to relax. I'm going to take a breather because the talking, as you can tell, getting a bit breathy. So I'm just going to settle in a bit. When I'm recording this session, it's midwinter. It's absolutely freezing. My chest is quite tight. So I just need a moment to relax, if you don't mind. It's another 2 minutes. Going nice and steady. A quick reminder of what we're up to. Got this warm up, then I'm going to pause, do our dynamics and our running drills. I'll show you a couple. Then we're going to come back onto the running for 3 minutes, nice and easy, just at this effort that we're at now. Before we get into the 3 rounds of half marathon and 5k efforts. So reminder what they are. You're going to do 3 minutes. Yeah, that's the right fingers. 3 minutes at half marathon pace. Then we'll crank it up to 2 minutes at 5k pace. Then come back down to half marathon pace. And it can be challenging. I'll explain why we're doing it when we're in the sit. It's the 1 minute. Let's just start to think about those cues, these little posture cues. So chin up, shoulders down, striding out with those nice high driven knees. I'm just trying to stay relaxed as possible. Last 35 seconds to say. Nice and chilled. You should feel like you could chat back to me if you wanted to. Most people don't want to. But we're going to that. Let's watch your coach have a breakdown on recording. Last 10. Two seconds. Okay. So just going to pause the workout there. And I'm going to move over onto the other cam. Just bear with me. And try not to take the camera down as I go through. You can't see it, but there are cables everywhere. Okay. So I'm just going to let's show you a couple of drills. Like one of the most popular, and you'll know, is a skip, which looks a little bit like this. Okay, and the reason that you might not hear it, but there's a massive contact at the bottom. So the purpose of this drill is actually really encouraging that lower limb snap, and that's what people rarely know about a march and a skip. It's working on that little snap back at the bottom of the running movement. So this bit here, that bit. So really, kind of in running technique theory, what coaches are trying to get you to do when they work on technique theory is they're trying to create that snapping motion so that your foot is grazing the floor like that. That's in theory what we're trying to do with run technique. And if you watch sort of really good 5-10k runners like Mo Farah, you go back and watch any like the old like 2012 Olympics or what have you, you'll see that in action. Like they're really good runners. I can't, not got space, and I'm not good enough to run a demonstrator anyway. But what you will see is that as they're striding forwards, they've got these really high leg drive, and as their foot comes down, it snaps back like that, and they just sort of, sort of digging at the floor. Whereas you contrast it with a normal runner, someone more like me, what tends to happen is this foot comes much more further down. Comes straight down, and the foot lands a little bit forward of the center of gravity. Whereas, elite runners, there's a real forwards lean, and the foot kind of snaps, and that's why they have such better momentum than someone like me. Anyway, so let's just do a few. So what you're doing is you're kind of rising up on your toes and then snapping back with your foot, rising up, snap. And what you're looking for is that foot to snap the floor just pretty much underneath you. Okay, you can lean forward a little bit as you're doing it. So yeah, you're looking like a bizarre little dinosaur person. You know, don't do this walking down the high street or whatever. But yeah, getting your arms going at the same time. Okay, so going up on your toes as you're going through and just snapping through. And you should really feel like a snapping, scraping motion with your foot. Just a few more. Okay. Next up, we're just going to do some high knees. Like so, you're well versed in this. And this is just about getting your hip flexors going, working on that knee drive. And you should be on the balls of your feet. So we're kind of getting that big toe activation going. Waking up the calves a little bit. Okay, and then some butt kicks. Move my mat back. Just some butt kicks. So what we're doing here is loosening off the quads a little bit. So what you also see with good runners, their heel comes right up to their bum as they bring their leg through. And so you're getting that like snap. So leg comes right up. Sorry, I'm done. Leg comes right up and then snap like that. That's what you'll see with much better runners. And then the last one I'm going to do is just, you look like a right muppet doing this. I was going to swear. But we're just going to do some fast feet. Okay, so you want to stay on your toes. You just do like that. I look like, I don't think what it is, like Dennis the Menace or something. Or just an angry little man. But yeah, just run, stay on your tippy toes. Yes, probably enough of that. And what you're doing there, again, is just getting a bit of big toe activation. So when you're doing that, you should feel all the pressure through your big toe, basically. Anyway, so that's some running drills. They're really good for doing as part of your warm-up, just for kind of getting you going. So, you know, with the A march, you know, you're just loosening up your hamstrings a little bit, getting your calves going, etc. There are benefits beyond the technique work. Anyway, right, so let's move on. Let's do some leg swings. We'll just finish off with our usual mobilizers. So 10 of these on each side. 9, 10. To the other side. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then facing something, I'll face the camera, just kicking across you. 7, 8, 9, 10. And for anybody that's knowledgeable and saw me demonstrating those drills, and you're just like, yeah, I think it goes without saying they're a little bit easier to demonstrate when you're outside and you've got plenty of space. So apologies if that looked awful. Kind of trying to prove a point. And then arm swings. Going forwards to begin with, try and bring your arms right and close to your ears. Yeah, I just remember doing going through all those drills when we were doing our qualifications and backwards. And let's just say I don't use many of them these days. I think they're far better ways of improving someone's technique, and quite often, as I said a couple of times, quite often are far more serious issues at play than, you know, whether someone has that snap in their stride, because usually you can't get anywhere near working on that sort of stuff with amateur runners before you've dealt with all the strength, mobility issues. Alright, right, so let's go start getting going again. Try not to bring down my entire setup. Back onto the old treadmill. So let's get going again. Let's start off with some walking to begin with, and then I'll get the workout going as well. Yeah. Oh, sorry for this just disappeared. Right, so workout is going again. Just building back through the training zones. That's the word. Just real kind of blank in my brain there. So building up to 4 out of 10. So building up to a 2, then a 3, then a 4. Just steadily over the next 2.5 minutes or so. Okay. So we've got 2.5 minutes before we get stuck into it. So remembering starting off at 6 out of 10 when we get into it. So it'll be half marathon pace. You guys should be, we don't expect you to be perfect. We do expect you you guys to be starting to get the hang of this pacing stuff. And I really would encourage you to look back at prior sessions and just see how your efforts are comparing. I mentioned Jack Daniel's V-Dot. You can use that calculator to get a good sense of what your different pacings should be in theory, and then you can kind of compare how you're actually getting close to that, or whether you're getting close to those pacings in your session. But in terms of your perception of effort, you should be nailing that by now. I think you're into the serious stuff. Session 7, you've had 6 opportunities so far to really drill down into your perception of the effort and your heart rate and things. So yeah, hopefully this session will go nice and smoothly. So we're up to pace now, a 4 out of 10 effort, and we're just looking to relax as best we can before we get into the hard work. So remembering to drive those knees. Don't worry too much about that snap back. A lot of technique, I haven't said yet, a lot of good technique actually comes with higher intensity. So I was talking earlier about Mo Farah, etc. If you try to run like that at this sort of 4 out of 10 effort, no chance. You know, you'll be all over the place. You've got a lower leg drive, your feet will naturally land a bit heavier, a little bit forward of your centre of gravity, just because you're going easier. So if you're doing any kind of gait analysis or whatever, it should be done at a reasonable rate of effort. Maybe the 6 out of 10 that we're going to do in about 10 seconds. You ready? Okay, now we build. So it's first up to a 5 out of 10 effort, so you should feel sort of semi-strong. Then we build up to 6 out of 10 effort. Okay? To get to a sort of a pace that you think reflects that effort. I've gone a bit too hard here. Come down to 13 kph. So you should feel strong. You still just about be able to talk. This that I've described it before is the effort where someone's talking to you and you just wish they would shut the F up. But you could talk if you had to. So half marathon pace, 6 out of 10 effort. First reminder to relax. Just shake out the hands, get that chin up, shoulders away from your ears, chest forwards. Just watch your heart rate steadily climb. You very much stay under threshold at this effort. And that's something to really remember when we're coming back down for 5k pace. It will take a bit of time, but by the end of the second 3 minutes, you should definitely be sub threshold. Okay, 9 seconds, then we're going to lift it. Should be an effort that you can do for an hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever, depending on your level. Should be nice and warm as well. So it should be reflective now of that half marathon effort. .45. Okay, last 30, then we're going to kick up 2 notches from 6 to an 8. And then, you can, if you like, simulate those notches, those gear changes, You think about 7 first, then an 8. And it doesn't need to be, you know, like a kick. You build. Anytime you kick, as I described before, you'll be going anaerobic. Ready? Yeah, up to a 7 first. Start to sort of 10k pace. Once you got settled there, then lift it a touch more to 5k. An 8 out of 10. Should feel hard. Nice big leg drive. Strong leg drive. Chest is forwards, head is up though. It's the effort you're staying for 16, 17, 20 odd minutes. Okay, 60 seconds to go. Then we're taking it back down to a 6. $30. Nearly there. I'm going to ease off. 10. Keep going all the way through. 3, 2, 1. Okay, then big gear change. Back down to a 6. Okay. One other thing we're trying to work on here is that patience. Recovery on the move. The phrase I use a lot with our athletes, because that's what racing is. It's accelerations, then recovering while still holding a strong pace. Horrible. But you just got to stay patient, keep an eye on your heart rate. Just have the belief that it will come down, which is harder for me because I'm talking to you. But it's really important that you also just tell yourself, just say this in your head, relax, relax, and relax. You should start to see your heart rate come down. There we go, heart rate's coming down now. 2 minutes to go. Wait, no, I was a little bit worried there. I was like, my heart rate's not coming down? But it is now. Both in the last 90 seconds now. Just 1 minute recovery. That's one of the reasons why acing this correctly is so important. There's not tons of recovery in the pure sense. So these 6 out of 10 efforts in particular needs to be spot on, and you should be able to recover at this effort. I don't mean be completely fresh afterwards. Just go and regain your composure. Last minute. Okay, nearly at the end of the round. Just 30 odd seconds. Stay strong, stay relaxed, chin up. Last 10. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Back down to the walking effort. Just a tiny sip of fluids if you've got some. Down to walking pace. Today we've not got long. And that's kind of one of the challenges of this session. Yes, the overall intensity might be lower. You know, only, what is it? You've got 6 minutes of 5k effort. But there isn't much breathing time. I really like these sessions because you can accumulate some really great time at some high intensity zones. But because the overall intensity is lower, it doesn't feel as hellish. Shall we say, as maybe like last week. So you ready to go? So building through the training zones now. We're going from pretty much 0 up to 6. So be steady about it. Take time over the first minute to build into it. You're not sprinting off the line. So up to a 4 out of 10. And then get to 5. Then up to a 6 out of 10. Once we're up to pace, we then tell ourselves to relax, the shoulders down, chin up, relax the hands a little bit, get that knee drive going, and let's just settle in. We're on one round down already. There's 2 more to go. Very easy to get the session wrong. Because you've only got the 6 minutes overall 5k effort, you kind of think, oh, I should be working harder. But this is one of those sessions where you can kind of delude yourself. And that final round, suddenly it hits you. So you've got to be sensible. The second round, you hopefully still feel pretty composed. But in the last round, I promise you, it'll be that coming back down from 5k and still keeping your legs turning over. That's when it will hit you. Actually, this is a tough session. That's one of the hardest things about racing, is having that discipline. That confidence go a bit easier when you feel fresh, when you feel like you could go harder, and just like, actually no, I will get there at the end. It's all well and good going hard at the beginning, but it's getting to that finish line that matters. And getting to that finish line fast and not dying a thousand deaths. The posture isn't down. Okay, 45, and we'll crank it again. Thirty. Ten seconds, then we've got to 7, and then an 8, up 10 over the course of the first minute. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's lift. First up to a 7, and then once you're settled there, up to an 8. Striding out, chin up. Bit some cyclists up here. Okay, approaching the last minute now. Stay composed. "45. Last 30 seconds of hard work. "15. 10. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Okay, easing back down to a 6. Try and relax. Just wait for the heart rate to start dropping. Okay, chin up, shoulders down, chest forwards, relax the hands. Okay, 1 minute down, good to go. Great, 2 seconds to go. Halfway through the second half marathon effort. Finish strong. It starts to feel more comfortable. The heart rate's come back down to where you'd expect it to be roughly. Most importantly, you're telling yourself to relax. It's that message in your head. It sounds dumb, but that self-talk is really effective. I do it all the time. Because as my family and wife will attest, the most unrelaxed person in the world. But when I tell myself relax, I just feel just suddenly, yeah, my chest loosens, my shoulders loosen. It's effective. 45. Last 30. "20. Final 10, you need it, guys. Go all the way to the end though. 3, 2, and 1. Back down to walking pace. Well done, guys. So just one more round left. So I'd really encourage you, if you're not already, to have a look at your data after these sessions and compare them week from week. Compare previous half marathon efforts, compare previous 5k efforts. What's the heart rate doing? And in particular, one of the indicators that you might have gotten your pacing wrong or your effort wrong is that you're dreading this final round. And if you are, then that suggests you perhaps gone a bit hard. And that's, we all do it. I'm just saying, you just want to start to have these conversations in your head. because we're back to it. And particularly if you're dreading this last round, make sure you look after the session and compare to previous sessions. Make that effort. It's because that little bit of knowledge, that little bit of self-reflection, both subjectively now, but also objectively after the session, that is invaluable knowledge, and it's going to make you such a better athlete. You start to make that effort. Start to a 7. No, sorry, up to a 5. We're up to a 6. And we'll just settle in here. This is our final round. 3 minutes at half marathon pace, 6 out of 10. 2 at 5k at an 8 out of 10. And then back down to 3 minutes at 6 out of 10. So this is the round where you should start to feel it. The heart rate might be a bit higher than the previous 2 rounds, but we should still feel strong, relaxed, and ready to kick it. Kick it. No, I'm too old to say phrases like that. That's the sort of self-reflection I do. Okay, so shoulders down, chin is up. We're feeling strong, but we're feeling relaxed. 2 minutes of hard work, then back to 3 minutes of strong work. That's all we got. And then we're done. Okay, 1 more minute, and then we don't kick it. We accelerate up to 5k pace, because that's what professional people would say. "45. Alright, this is going to be our last 5k effort. Alright, so get ready for it. Get mentally prepared. Let's not get carried away. Particularly if you're still feeling good. That's not a bad thing. You don't have to savage yourself. Not every session is a smash fest. Ready? Okay, up we go. Oh, sun visor. So we kicked it up to a 5k effort now. Last time. Stripy socks. Boom. I haven't hated this Zwift experience, but I can't say I give a crap about that stuff. Still got the original avatar. Okay, up to pace now. 8 out of 10. Trying to relax. Shoulders down, chin up. Driving those knees. Doing our best Mo Farah impression. Paula Ratcliffe. Yeah, great takers. Well, apart from the head bobbing thing, the run stride was great. Last 45. Just 30 seconds of hard work. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, working our way back down to a 6. And let's be patient. It's horrible. Just wait. Your breath will come back. Well done, relax. Just 2 minutes or so, and we're done. This is actually quite, I think if you're on a good day, you're feeling great. It's a hard session to execute, particularly for those 2-minute efforts, because they're quite short. We all have our own internal pacing clock. If I said to you 2 minutes hard, what you would do is 2 minutes at an effort that you could only sustain for 2 minutes. So actually holding back, and even though it's only 2 minutes long, and actually hitting your normal 5k pace, actually hitting what an 8 out of 10 feels like, I mean, it's tough. Might sound simple, but in reality it's actually quite challenging. Keeping yourself disciplined, not get carried away. So last minute, nice and strong, heart rate's coming down, slowly feeling better. Four seconds. Last 30. Stay on pace. 6 out of 10. Strong but not hard. Relax. $15. 10. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Down to a nice, easy walking pace. I'm just going to cool down for a few minutes. Okay. So, as I said, guys, if you found that third round really hard, or if you were dreading it in the recovery after the second round, go back, have a look at your intervals from previous sessions, how well you paced those for the different kind of pacing targets, and just kind of, self-reflect. Try and do better next time. Okay, and that is I'd say it's a tough session, not for the reasons that you maybe immediately think. They're pacing 5k. Just for 2 minutes, it's hard to do. You remember the sessions, a couple of sessions ago, where we had these half marathon efforts, and then I think it was 30 seconds or 1 minute at 5k. Even harder to pace properly because it's only a minute, so you just go and you inevitably hammer it. This is similar, but we're trying to instill this discipline and confidence, particularly for less experienced athletes who, don't have much to gauge by, and perhaps don't have tons of race experience or races that have gone well or races where they felt strong. They don't really have a barometer, but hopefully over the course of this tempo build, we give you the confidence to know how you should approach things. And it's a really important skill. You can't really keep moving up those levels unless you develop pacing skills and knowledge and through subjective cues. So just gonna have a couple more minutes just walking, get the fluids on board, just watch the heart rate come down. Just once you kind of get below about 100 beats per minute, you know you're getting recovered again. So if you need a bit longer, don't worry, just keep walking it out, but just let your heart rate come down. Of course, my heart rate's going to stubbornly stay above 100 beats per minute now, isn't it? There we go. Just going to walk for another 20 odd seconds. Like I say, if you need a bit longer, just crack on, but you're probably sick of hearing my voice, so I'll dive off 15 seconds. But there you go. This is the first. There are going to be a few more sessions like this, but they're going to be cranking up in terms of difficulty. So you're going to have plenty more practice at this type of work, changing the pace up and down, and yeah, just being honest with yourself. But there you go, guys. That's session 7 done. Well done. I'll see you next time. Good job, guys.